Okay, so we're going to talk about Section 230. Section 230 is something that stops social media companies, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, from being sued for things that are put on their platform, right? It makes it not their responsibility, which is a good thing, right? Because without this, that means that if something goes wrong, a bit like, do you remember when like McDonald's would get sued because somebody would pour hot coffee over themselves because the McDonald's cup didn't have a hot coffee warning on it? That kind of thing will happen to social media companies if this bill gets overturned, right? The problem with that is the amount of restriction that would then be on every single social media site outside of America, inside of America. I mean, there would be no more free speech on the internet. Okay, look at it like this: if Fox News or CNN, whoever, puts some complete bullshit on their site, and you can then right now you can go on social media and refute that, and kind of you can kind of see through the bullshit. If this gets overturned, that will no longer exist because social media platforms will be heavily incentivized to limit all speech that is even remotely controversial because they will be sued if this gets overturned. So I'm going to show you quickly what that is. I'll put it up on the screen now, what Section 230 is, so you can read it yourself. Just pause the video and look. Okay. Okay, I'm going to play the video in a minute of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to say. If this gets overturned, it will be the end of the internet as a remotely useful place for anyone to be. It will destroy the internet, and that's kind of what they want, right? I mean, they want this to happen. They don't want free speech on these platforms either way, left, right, middle, whatever. They don't want it. Both sides actually have been trying to get this overturned for like a decade because they don't want free speech. They want to be able to control what you see, what you hear. They don't want you to be able to get this information easily as you can on the internet. This will completely destroy free speech on these platforms. So I'm gonna play the video for you so you can see what they're talking about, and it's crazy what they're trying to do. The chances it goes through is very slim because they have tried this numerous times over the past decade. But it's still possible, and if it goes through, what will actually end up happening as a result is all the tech companies, YouTube, Instagram, they will either have to move out of the USA, right, which would not be good for the USA. They would have to, or they don't move out the USA, and new companies emerge, new social media platforms emerge, China, Russia, these types of anywhere in the world, where they would not be beholden to this Section 230. And then America will be then very sad about this because then it'll be controlled by places like China and Russia, who, can't get sued. This is just going to be real bad if this gets passed. But here's the Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's an actor, literally a paid actor, who's being paid to talk about this. He's a paid actor. Talking about this, and I'll kind of explain as we go, but you'll see.
I didn't know him personally. I'd seen him on TV, in the movies, knew that he was a filmmaker and entrepreneur, but I had breakfast with our next speaker and guest this morning. He talked about his interest in this issue from a personal point of view, being the father of 3 children, 10, 8, and 3.
That's right.
So it's personal. So for parents and grandparents across America, this man is not acting, he's for real. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm here to talk about the Section 230 Sunset Act, If you don't know and you're watching, Section 230, what it does is basically says that a platform on the internet can't be held liable for the content that it hosts, which I realize sounds sort of technical and boring. So why did I come out here to Washington, D.C. to support this? Well, first and foremost, it's because I'm a dad, as the senator said. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And a lot of people here today are parents whose kids, I just heard a couple stories that left me trying to keep myself together. These photos remind me of my kids. And the harm that was done to these kids online might have been prevented if certain big tech companies knew that they could be sued. But under Section 230, they cannot be. So these amoral companies, they just keep allowing these awful things to happen on their platform, and they don't do anything about it because they will always prioritize profits over the public good, even when it comes to kids.
You know, he's pretending like he's crying right now. He's not really crying. No one is this emotional, right? He's doing this for the cameras. Don't get it twisted. You know, he's literally a paid actor. He's being paid to act right here. He's saying these things could have been prevented. You know, these social media companies don't do anything about it. It's just not true. Everyone knows that if you report something on social media, it gets taken off. Even on Instagram now, if you type something in that they deem to be, you know, edgy, they give you a chance to unsend the message before it goes out to the public. They social media is already very restrictive in what it lets you do. The idea that, you know, these companies, they're just letting anything happen. Anything can happen. That's not true. The incentive on both sides, left and right, to get this, they've both been trying to get rid of this. The left says it's, bullying and hate speech and harassment, and the right says anti-Semitism and misinformation. That's why they want to get rid of it. That's not why they want to get rid of it. That they want to get rid of it because they want to be able to control people's speech. I mean, you literally have Netanyahu, who is the president of Israel, telling people that he has openly said this, to the public, that he wants to control TikTok because he wants to control the current opinion of people on Israel. That is the type of thing that will be happening. What should this go through? This is just a way of controlling how people speak. Don't let them, I know they're holding the picture of that kid in the background, and that is sad and it's terrible. But that's not on the social media companies. That's on the people who put the messages. They're the people who should be held responsible, not the companies. The companies are merely a platform to let you do and say what you want to do and say. It is not on them to put. I don't want to be rude, but it's on the parents to see what's going on their own kids, instead of just giving your kid an iPad and saying, "Well, here you go, have at it." That ain't good. That's terrible. Of course, that's terrible. But that's on you. That's not on the companies. You have to, raise your own children and not just rely on your iPad to do it for you. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Still very dear to me. So I understand what Section 230 did to bring about the birth of the internet. That was 30 years ago. And I also understand how the internet has changed since then. Because back then, message boards and other websites with user-generated content, they really were more like telephone carriers. They were neutral platforms. But that's not how things work anymore. Today, the internet is dominated by a small handful of these gigantic businesses that are not at all neutral, but instead algorithmically amplify whatever gets the most attention and maximizes ad revenue. And we know what happens when we let these engagement optimization algorithms be the lens that we see the world through. We get a mental health crisis, especially amongst young people. We get a rise in extremism and a rise in conspiracy theories. And then, of course, we get these echo chambers. These algorithms, they amplify the demonization of the other side so badly that we can't even have a civil conversation. It seems like we can't agree on anything. And yet, one of the only things that the American public seems to agree broadly on right now, left, right, and center, Republicans, Democrats, independents, we all agree that we don't trust these big tech businesses and we don't like the influence they're having on our lives and the lives of our kids.
Big news networks. Not that we don't trust big tech. So we don't trust Fox, we don't trust CNN, we don't trust MSNBC, we don't trust the BBC, we don't trust the ITV. If this was to be passed, that is all we would have anymore. There would be no independent anything on these platforms. You would only have Fox, you would only have CNN, you would only have MSNBC, these big news networks that nobody likes anymore, that nobody trusts, that nobody listens to. That will be all you will have if this goes through. The chances it goes through is very slim. I mean, it has been shot down. Sometimes it gets pretty far in the process before it gets shot down, but it has been shot down so far. Maybe under this current administration, you know, maybe it doesn't get shot down, wrongly or rightly. I mean, this would be terrible if this gets... It would just be awful if this gets through.
The right first step is to sunset Section 230. It's not going to solve everything, but it is the right first step. And I take a lot of hope being in this room today. This is truly a bipartisan group of people, and it's really representing the will of the American people. Despite the tech industry spending all kinds of money hiring lobbyists trying to kill this thing, we are here. So I want to thank Senator Durbin, Senator Graham for co-sponsoring this bill, and I have a message for all the other senators out there. I want to see this thing pass 100-0. There should be nobody voting to give any more impunity to these tech companies. Nobody. It's time for a change. Let's make it happen. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. I thought I'd let him have his say because, it's only fair. Clearly, they've hired a paid actor. They're talking about the tech companies hiring lobbyists. These guys have literally hired a paid actor to come and pretend to be emotional and pretend to care for you. I mean, it's pathetic, really, but, they want it to go 100-0. I mean, it won't go 100-0 because, it won't. Because there are people with common sense, believe it or not. If this goes through, which hopefully it won't, but it might. The thing is, they just keep trying. They keep trying, they keep trying, they keep trying. They keep putting it through. They keep trying to put it through. Eventually it's going to get through, right? Eventually it will get through. And that will be terrible. I promise you don't want to see the world or the internet without Section 230. It will not be good. They're idiots. Of course these people are idiots. I mean, they have no idea. This old guy, he has no idea what he's talking about. He's just sat there, dead-faced. He has no idea what's going on. I don't know what. He has decided to attach himself to this for whatever reason. He's a governor. If you live in any of these, if you live in America, please, you have to try and convince your local elected officials to go against this thing, because this will be terrible. Anyway, yep, I thought I'd just let it play. Thought I'd let you know what's going on. I mean, I actually got it from Charlie, Moist Critical. He's the one who I saw they were trying to do this again for. I saw it on his channel, they're trying to do this again. So, yeah, that's it.